Hey everyone, it's Harry the Soul Coach, and today I'm going to continue the research with recent events and using what we're being shown in the news now to link back to the Q posts and also the overall picture of this great awakening. For people that are new to the channel, I encourage you to go back and watch some of my previous videos, starting with the CIA being the good guys, and you'll be able to see how it all starts linking. We're in the middle of a spiritual war. We're about to start seeing how evil this world has been, and all of us have been born into a system that's kept us as slaves. We've been trafficking victims, and we've had a lot of crime done to us without us realizing. Over time, people are going through life hustling, finding it hard, challenging. And over time, people have been corrupted, people have been deceived, people have been caught making bad choices and being held to those bad choices through blackmail. So all of this is being revealed to us at the moment. If you follow my channel, I call myself a soul coach. Soul coach is truth. It's love, it's growth, it's connecting with God. Everything that we do in our life, in every choice that we make, there's the right one, which is the truth, and there's one that we make unconsciously. Or from an evil standpoint, we make knowingly that what we're doing is not right. So we're getting to a stage now of all crime links, and this has been the part that's really helped me connect a lot of this together. We're being shown a movie on the television at the moment. Everything with this story, this awakening, everything has been scripted for us to get up to date with what has been going on in the world. At the same time, there's been a military operation taking out evil from the highest levels of corruption all the way down to every part of corruption throughout the world. We're seeing a military operation. If people can get their head around that, and a great documentary which I continue to encourage people to go and watch, and I just say do it now. Like, why would you keep waiting? If you're watching my videos, go watch Fear City on Netflix. It's a 3-part docu-series, how we took down the mob in the 80s. If you can watch that, then a lot of the videos that I put out there, it's a lot easier to relate to. It's almost a blueprint of how you take down the mob. However, that also showed the blueprint of how the mob works, replicated every town, every city, every country around the world. Criminals exist, and criminals link with criminals. So it's an enterprise, and everyone in this enterprise has their own role. They stay in their lanes. It runs through the families. It goes back through stories passed on about wars that we've been in and taking sides and having values and beliefs and traditions and being part of secret societies and being in a club, being in the wealthy. It's a big, big list. So people have been born into a bad system. However, people have still made bad choices knowingly. And for an eternity, it feels like for these people, they've got away with it. They've kept these power positions. They've managed to rework certain things when they do get caught. They just reshuffle, reorganize, and go again. So dark to the light has a lot deeper meaning. It's a spiritual battle. It's God's creation and God's children versus anyone that's turning against God. So any crime is going to fall under the darkness. And this is where we're getting to this stage now. And people are finding it hard because when you point at someone, and someone that you may know in your life, you'll say they're a good person. I know them. I've known them my whole life. They're a good person. And I've had these conversations with my parents as well. There's going to be people in our life where you're going to realize they've been on the wrong side. So their role is to be a good friend, to be a good person, to be there whenever you need it, to be there financially. There's these people in your life that are still part of the system. So although we might know them as good and we might get on, it's maybe because you're being yourself and they get to be themselves around you. However, it still doesn't stop the fact that people do wrong. People, especially when it comes to business, corrupt others out. All of you watching this throughout your lifetime has known someone in your life that's dodgy. You just know they're dodgy. You know what they get up to is dodgy. Some people might have been in prison. That's a big sign now. Because when you're in prison, that's their chance of getting people into the system. In prison, it's not just going to the gym and having a walk around the yard. It's planning when you come back out again, how you're going to fit back into our system. What are you going to do for us? No snaking, no ratting, That's what you get it from. It's the system. So if people can start going beyond individuals now, because we're being shown it all. Individuals, and then we're seeing foundations, and then the Clintons and the Rothschilds, which I'll come on to today. We're still stuck with what we're being shown. This is every aspect of our life. So we're being prepared. And the scare event, and I did a little video the other day where people are like, when are the normies going to wake up? They're never going to wake up, with a cocky tone to it. That phrase, if you keep repeating that phrase, shows that you're not awake. You're so far from being awake by saying that, because you're not anticipating what does awake mean. You're not anticipating what is about to come. It's going to show us. For us to awaken properly, we need to be shown it. And when we get shown the full extent of this system, which is wraps around the whole world that we live on, every part of society, every business, every corporation, there's been infiltration. If you look at it on that grand scale, then you'll start realizing we have no clue what's going on. And then you'll start realizing how magical this plan has been. And what I'm seeing more and more now, and diving into every day, is how magical this Q post board is, all the Q posts. Without Q, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I'm going to go straight into it. That might have been a lot for people that are new to my channel. So again, I suggest you just go and watch some of my other videos. Look what awesome about with my, if you go on the lives on my playlist, have a look at my live talks, all on soul coaching, all on bettering yourself, all on bringing awareness, all on connecting with your feelings, your soul. When you do that, then all of this stuff that I'm talking about makes so much more sense, because you know yourself first. So today, announcement that Rothschild, Jacob Rothschild, has now died. And the Rothschilds is a big name. Many people watching this, I know that you would know who the Rothschilds are. And then I'm going to go on to the Q posts to look at the Rothschilds and show you the importance of this family, and to show you the roles that they play. And also, because we are getting to a stage now, the names that were being shown on the news, again, from the videos that I've done over the last week or so, showing that we're at the highest levels of corruption now. All of this has been dealt with. It's now being put out there for us to learn what has been going on. And above that, because it is at the highest levels of corruption, once we see that ourselves, then everything else I just discussed about it being in our own lives is going to be a lot easier to accept, because it is people above them that's been controlling it for a long time, throughout generations. The internet and technology has been the reason why we've managed to stop, expose, and break free of this evil system. And it's God's people that have created this technology based on our own bodies, based on inspiration from the outside world, God's creation. We learn from ourselves. So we create the technology to help us understand, to help unite us, connect us, and at the same time capture them. They've all moved on to it. They've adopted new technology, and they don't know where it started from. They don't understand it all. None of us do. Yet the military, FBI, CIA have all had their involvement creating all this. So we have it all. We caught them all. Those phrases we keep hearing all the time, that is the truth. So the fact that Rothschilds just died today, and I'm going to show you in order of treasonous control, they're number 2 from the Q posts. So we're going to go straight into it. I'll do a share screen again. As always, thank you for people to watching my research videos, and just to show you that the research I do, I can back up. Everything I put out there, I show you why I put it out there. So people that argue and get triggered by my posts, they never watch my research videos, and there's no will to go and watch it. And encourage people, share this with loved ones. Ask them to watch this first and then come back if they're moaning. Anyone that says Q is a rubbish, load of rubbish, you'll hear people say it's a psyop. It is a psyop, because it helps with this war. It helps conditioning. There's phrases that people keep repeating. But anyone that moans about Q has never been on the Q posts. Anyone that moans about Q and says it's a load of rubbish, ask them, how do you get onto the Q posts? They won't be able to tell you. If you go on, you'll see the level of detail it goes into and the way it gets you thinking, and it allows you to do the research. So we'll start with here, because it was big news that he died today, and it is now trending on Twitter. So the post that come to mind was news unlocks. And there's a post here which says, it's like having all the pieces of the puzzle, but only after news unlocks can the puzzle be put together, the full picture. So I know the Rothschilds have got so much significance here. So I'm going to just scroll through a number of different things, how this all ties up together. And some of the most evil of evil things that we've heard about, like the real laptop from hell, the Hillary Clinton email servers, Nexium, which brings it all in today. Nexium was the cult where a guy called Keith Raniere got 120 years in prison for a sex cult and sex trafficking. And there was an actress called Alison Mack who was arrested, got 3 years in prison. She's now let out now. And she got 3 years for cooperation. So she's definitely been speaking. But look, one of the posts straight away, where it says news unlocks, is how does LDR, which is Rothschilds, connect to the Bronfmans? Find the bridge. Think company. How is Bronfman connected to Nexium? Go backwards. Nexium. Who pleaded guilty? Which is Claire Bronfman. Alison Mack. When do birds sing? Watch New York, news unlocks. So this is going to bring this in, because if you go on Twitter now and X, which is where you get all the news and all the discussions, Rothschilds is trending. So people are obviously sharing it, and a lot of people are saying he's dead, banks are going to go soon and stuff as well. So I'm going to show you a number of posts. I've gone through them today. There's quite a lot on the Rothschilds, and piece a few more things together for us. And again, think about the highest levels of corruption. We are now being shown it on the news. We're now able to link a lot of these things together because it all comes back to just a few select group of people, the same people for every other bad thing that's ever happened to us. So when people get their head around all these, you have nothing to moan about. You have nothing to complain about. You cannot be blaming Trump anymore because you see, oh my God, it's just, Russia collusion, setting up impeachment, it's all the same. So for the new people getting into this is all you need to focus on, the highest levels, because it's a minefield to look at all the other things. That's what we've all learned over the last few years. When I was looking at this stuff a number of years ago, it was Hunter Biden's laptop, got loads of terrible stuff on it. Ukraine and China sellout. Biden, he's a creepy one. He sniffs all kids. Obama and Pizzagate and Chicago hot dogs and Hillary Clinton Foundation and Haiti, all of those things we knew about. And over the last few years is when's something going to happen? When's something going to happen? Well, in that something going to happen, we're learning about all these other levels of corruption, which is huge. If you be honest, it's massive. And we're now finding out, whoa, it all links back up to the same people. So you can go back 7 years. When the Pizzagate emails come out, Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, and even Donald Trump was saying, like, Hillary Clinton needs to be arrested. We knew about that then. And they mostly did do the arrest back then, which the Q post actually said in November, the 28th of, no, October 28th, Hillary Clinton's been arrested. That's what it said, 2017. So all these things have happened. It's just we wasn't paying attention. And also, if you take out the top players of a whole criminal syndicate, then everyone would go rogue. Everyone would start taking people out. People would be silencing each other because it's a system. It's secrets. The higher up you go in this horrible system, the more awful the crimes are. And the more higher up you go, obviously, there's less people that can say dirt on you because you're the dirtiest. And then everyone else underneath you, you've got dirt on all of them because you've got the power. So people knowing what's going on would be constantly looking for Hillary Clinton being taken out because they would be trying to redistribute power and change the way that they spend money and be more cautious and stuff. So this has been a whole military operation in terms of moves and counter moves too, because the criminals are always watching. So I started off with 2 pluses because 2+ represents the Rothschilds. So it says nothing is random, everything has meaning. That's 3 pluses. That represents Saudi. So let me just go to the post to show that. And a lot of the posts today, I'm going to skip through the ones that are all about the Rothschilds, but also show you how it's all linked with Hillary Clinton, with George Soros, with the Saudi family. It's all the same things. So hard to swallow, but important to progress. Who are the puppet masters? 3 pluses. Look, House of Saudis, 4 trillion plus. Rothschilds, 2 pluses, 2 trillion plus. And then Soros, 1 trillion plus. So it's 3 pluses, Sauds, 2 pluses, Rothschilds, 1 plus is Soros. Focus on the above 3. Public wealth disclosures are always false. Many governments of the world feed the eye. Think slush funds feeder, think war, think environmental pacts. Triangle has 3 sides, Sauds, Soros, Rothschilds. Just look at it like that. Follow the bloodlines. What is the keystone? I'll explain what the keystone is in a minute. So the key is the news and the military. The stone is us, the patriots that do the research, and you put it together. Does Satan exist? Does the fort of Satan exist? Who worships Satan? What is a cult? Epstein Island, what is a temple? What occurs in a temple? Worship. Why is the temple on the top of the mountain? How many levels might exist below? What is the significance of colors, design, and symbol above the dome? Why is this relevant? Who are the puppet masters? Have the puppet masters traveled to this island? When? How often and why? Vladimir Putin, the New World Order worships Satan, Q. So the Epstein Island, which is going to come back into all of this, I feel was a CIA operation mimicking how the Royals and Jimmy Savile would do it in the UK with the politicians. And the people at the highest of evil that control this would never come out. However, power invites other people to power. They want to know what's going on. So as the internet and technology boomed, obviously there's a lot more millionaires and billionaires that get produced, and people don't understand what other people are doing. So they would have created this island with the idea of drawing them all out, and you capture them all. So let me just go on to a few more of the 2 pluses. And these are posts, if you see 133, 134, 140, they were all done in November 2017. So at this point, these are really early days of the Q posts, and there was loads in quick succession. Like I said, the first post was the 28th of October 2017. So not even a month into the Q post. So why were the events in Saudi Arabia extraordinary? Who was arrested? What will bank records provide? List names, family history, investment ownership stakes, and point-to-point contacts. X, Al Walid, Puma, Barack Obama, Citigroup, US control. So Saudis controlled the US. Obama was a puppet, paid to go to Harvard, funded by the Saudis. Puma, which there's 2 meanings for it. Puma was part of the Muslim Brotherhood, which is Huma Abedin, which was then the associate for Hillary Clinton, and married to Anthony Weiner. Anthony Weiner's the one that had the laptop from Hill, the real laptop from Hill, confiscated with a folder on there called life insurance. And on that folder was suggested 3 videos, which I can try to find the Q post for that as well. And this is where frazzle drip comes into play. So look, why is this relevant? The House of Saud, US control, follow the money. What power shift recently occurred? Was a new king appointed? Coincidence? Dark to light. Why is this relevant? One side of the triangle removed, the first time in history. Other sides have fallen. So when Trump went to Saudi Arabia, we saw instantly things started taking place. A number of the princes, including that bin Tal Walid, apologies, who funded all this terrorism. He was arrested just after Trump had left. So I'm going to do one more on the New World Order, which is the Nazi World Order in this one, that wealth over generations buys power. Power over generations buys more wealth and control. More wealth, control buys countries and its people. Families combined is a tri, NWO. Inner tri families will collapse. What is the keystone? What nation dominates all others? What nation has influence over most others? What is the keystone? Return to Saudi Arabia. Strings cut. puppets in the shadows. Each side of the triangle controls a certain suspect of power brokers. Power brokers are also labeled as the puppets and servants. What is the New World Order? Why did President Trump receive a sword dance when visiting Saudi Arabia? He took control. What does this mean culturally? Why is this relevant? What occurred in Saudi Arabia? Why did Trump remove one side of the pyramid? What did President Trump receive whilst visiting China? What did President Trump dine? What is the significance? What if China, Russia, and others are coordinating with Trump to eliminate the NWO? Hence why you see China, 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 Russia, Russia, Russia. For me, it's all part of a plan to take out evil and darkness. You might say China are so bad. Communists in China are bad, the CCP. Communists in Russia are bad, and dark and light in every country. So get out of the habit of saying they're all bad because of country, because this is just naive and it's just stupidity. And that's what we're trying to break away from. So let me just see. I don't need to go into any more of this. It's just a few different things on the Rothschilds here. Interesting one was this one. It was called Keywords, Confirm, Green and Sky. Why were keywords added in the stringer? So there was a mission that took place, which I'll come on to. What was previously stated to who specifically? There's 2 pluses of Rothschilds. Who counted? So I'll come on to that post because I'm now spending a bit of time trying to work out what's going on. What is a stringer code? So it's like a military operation. And so on one of the posts, it's 179. So it said what stringer was provided 2 days before the event. What were the keywords in the stringer? So confirm, green, yellow, sky. Guide to reading the map. Legend, past provides the future. Questions provide the answers. So it says Lord G. Rothschild, thus 2, was the target. Who was the pilot of the plane? Green. What was counted? Unknown to us. Who was on the ground outside the house before the collision? The collision. Who was on the ground outside shortly before the collision? Was it unnamed Rothschild? Who was in the home shortly before the collision? Unknown to us. There was a dog grooming event. Learn to read the map. Trying really hard is like herding kittens in here sometimes. We may have overestimated your ability. You came to us for certain strengths, but there are weaknesses as well. Some being exploited, not enough to focus. Answer the questions, build the big picture, break it down. Make memes for the normies to calm and educate. So we'll be ready for the storm. So what happened on this day, and I've got an articles to prove it. So can you see how that's coded? And this is how I'm trying to read it now, trying to make sense. So if I'm reading this and you're listening going, that makes no sense, just to hold on with it because it doesn't make sense to a lot. This is why we try to break them down. A lot of people stay away from Q posts because they feel like it's decoding. It's not so much anymore. It's just the abbreviations and stuff, and also trying to figure out what does all this mean, which I'll show you. So there's a shadow war. Act 2, Scene 5, movie idea, thoughts. So it's just a good way of telling you what's going on. Characters, good guy, the pilot of the helicopter. Bad guy, pilot of the plane. Targets on the ground and in home. The story, upon receipt of the go code, good guys fly during a blackout window provided by unknown agency with unknowns. Ordinary people by the look of it. To a select location. In brackets, highly classified mission. Who was given the go order by X to execute the delivery for free for care? Bad guys intercept the message due to rogue operators embedded in tactical observation unit and takes out good guy by top-down invisible attack. Mission failure. Encore. What has since occurred by targets? That makes no sense if you're just listening to me now. So let me show you what happened. So 6 years ago, this article, a helicopter pilot killed in mid-air crash named as Mike Green. One of those keywords was called Green. 3 others were killed in a collision between a helicopter and a two-seater plane. And let me just skip through it all. So there was a plane crash. So the plane crash was above. Look, police and air accident investigators continued to scour the crash site near the Waddesdon estate, the former country seat of the Rothschilds banking dynasty, for clues about the cause of the collision. So when it says on the Q post mission failed, there was a plane with this guy, Captain Mike Green, who was meant to be the most respected pilot at the time. It crashed to take out the Rothschilds, and it was intercepted. So witnesses described a shock of mid-air crash near the Waddesdon estate. So when it said unnamed person reported it, on here it says the woman who did not want to be named published told the Press Association she heard a loud bang while she was driving a car to a dog grooming event near Waddesdon in Buckinghamshire. Just 5 minutes earlier, she had been picking a plant in the Wilderness Woods, the scene of the crash site. So it's a lady from in the house, so unnamed Rothschilds, giving a story to the press. So it was quite interesting because there's a lot of posts talking about this code names and stingers and stuff. So going back to it, so look, there's a good guy in the helicopter, a bad guy in the plane. So someone's obviously gone up and said, stop that plane from coming in. Archive immediately. Stringer code equals command. What stringer was provided 2 days before the event? What were the keywords in the stringer? Confirm. Green, yes. Sky. Why were keywords provided? Is guiding to a reading a map. Lord de Rothschild. What was previously stated? Who was the pilot of the plane? A bad actor. Who was the pilot of the helicopter? Green. What was counted? Who was on the ground outside the collision? Who was in the home shortly after the collision? So it's trying to get us to pay attention to this war is going on, and these people have a lot of power to intercept still even the most classified of informations. So there's a lot of posts altogether with the 2 pluses on here. But let me just go on to the Rothschilds instead. And then we can start going through a few more and show you how it's all connected. So straight away, Rothschilds, as Maxwell's went to an event, and she was standing next to one of the Rothschilds in this photo. Think LDR, which is the Rothschild. I think her name is Lynn. So think LDR, which is Lynn Rothschild. Think Gloria V. Think Epstein. Think Q. So this is going to connect Maxwell Epstein as well with the Rothschilds. The next post was the Bronfman. What was the connection there? And the NXIVM cult, which I'll show you slightly. What city was Epstein arrested in? New York. What's California? So I'll scroll down a few more. Paris Hilton's family is married to a Rothschild. It's her sister. Who did Nikki Hilton, sister of Paris, marry? So it's James Rothschild. There's a lot of involvement with the hotels being used for things like human trafficking as well, with partnerships with the Clinton Foundation. So list the estimated wealth of religious organizations, billions. Vatican Bank, 229 billion. Board of Superintendents, Supervisory Commission of Cardinals, Clown Connection, Rothschilds, 1832, the Rothschild loan to the Holy See. So now it brings in the Vatican Bank as well, because the Rothschilds control government, and I'm show you what else they control as well in a minute. So look, money, power, control. People are simply in the way. Slaves, sheep, pawns. Mass extinction events designed to decrease the threat level of population. Gun control, wars, in brackets fake, top happy, back end deal. Election rigging, control. Your voice does not matter. Pharma, class D, so terrible stuff going on. Water, air, chemicals pushed for home use cleaning. Cancer, baby on the floor, hands in mouth, that's the start. Vaccines, not all of them. Tobacco, opioids. The ultimate win is death plus money. The Fed, Rothschild. And then it'd be conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy. UK and Germany, 5 days. The choice is yours. Revelations, enough is enough. So they controlled a lot here. So if I come down then and staying on the Rothschilds, then you're going to start seeing other things where it's linked to. So the name that they don't mention on the Q post is John McCain. In this, he was seen, and obviously we have inside people taking photos here with the Taliban, ISIS, and all the leaders from different countries all in one room with John McCain. So we don't say his name returning to prime time. Wonder if his so-called illness and condition will flare up. He apparently died from cancer. He's not a war hero. He's a mega millionaire from the McCain Institute. The Rothschilds, Clintons, Saudi Arabia, etc. Not complete. Define money laundering. Define the word traitor. A world without this man is better off. It brings in Saudi, the Clintons, and the Rothschilds and John McCain. All to do with what we're seeing now in the news. These deaths obviously have been happening for a reason. So post 666, watch the news. The Rothschilds estate in the Black Forest is now sold. The stock market died. 666 coincidence. Soros transfer of wealth. Dopey freed. Marriage for power, not love. So Hilton and the Rothschilds. So I said to that, they're married in. Soros and Clinton, which I'll come on to, etc. So these people marry in the families to keep the power together. They're not real loves, and these people don't love anyway. It's just putting themselves in positions. So news unlocks the map. Think mirror, which team? These people are evil. Still don't believe you're a sheep to them? Public is vital. Release of info is vital. There's an outrage, justice. That's what people are going to be screaming for. Can we simply arrest the opposition without exposing the truth? Follow the light. So this is why now is what's on the news, confirm it from the Q posts. Because what's on the news is for all of us now. It's not just conspiracy theorists. It's not people that are just truth. No, it's on the news. So the more that we get this stuff out, the more it's going to get linked to us to allow us to handle it all. We can't just simply arrest people without exposing it. So they mostly have arrested a lot of these people. They have to expose it first before things change. Then there was a post with Adam Schiff, 665. So these are all like after each other, all to do with the Rothschilds still. So another way now for me to read the Q post, which I've never really done it in order. It's almost like if it's on the news, follow here. So look, this Twitter was from February 2018. Little Adam Schiff, who is desperate to run for higher office, is one of the biggest liars and leakers in Washington, right up there with Comey, Warner, Brennan, and Clapper. Adam leaves closed committee hearings to illegally leaking confidential information must be stopped. So they would go to different meetings and he would be leaking it to BuzzFeed, which is a news article. And then Adam Schiff replies, Mr. President, I see you've had a busy morning of executive time. Instead of tweeting false smears, the American people would appreciate if you turned off the TV and helped solve funding crisis, protected dreamers, or really anything else. And on here it said, why would Trump make such a serious accusation if the truth wasn't about to come to light? Black Forest, Australia. So that's the estate that was sold. That Rothschilds. Fire sale days after the post. What went on there? Dopey. You have more than you know. So it's almost saying this stuff is already taking place. The reason why they're selling it is because we're in control. And this is 2018. So I scroll down even more and you can see that there's a photo, George Soros and the guy that's just passed away, the Rothschilds. Not sure who's that with the Pope in there, but I'm guessing that, yeah, it says Rothschilds on here as well. What else? So you can see there's a lot on Rothschilds, but it brings everything together, people. And how often have we been shown anything on the Rothschilds throughout all the information that's being shown to us? Military are putting this info out, knowing that places like Twitter and the Truth Movement are going to just share whatever. Now it's at this stage. So look, Obama, Hillary Clinton, and many more must be terrified. Where did all the money go? How many planes? Where did the planes land? Why were the clowns and private contractors escorting? Why cash? Why offshore cash? Why wasn't Congress notified for the approval? Where did the bank wires originate from? Coincidence, all donations to the Clinton Foundation terminated after she lost 2016. What did Australia and UK obtain in exchange for all that money? Where do the majority of the Rothschilds reside? So why is Obama traveling around the globe and visiting major financial institutions? 115, I'm guessing that's $1 billion or $1 million. Who are the Muslim Brotherhood? Who is A1? Who is Huma? Who is VJ? Who created ISIS? Who controlled ISIS? What was the purpose of ISIS? Who is MS-13? Why were known MS-13 members released after capture? Who controls MS-13? Who funds MS-13? Hard to swallow. Watch the news. So the Clinton Foundation and Obama, after they lost that election, which they wasn't expected to, they had to go around and pay back some of these countries. I did a video on Obama, and they sent 221 million to Palestine on his last day, which Trump stopped. Before that, they sent loads of money to Iran as well in cash, and it avoided going through Congress, as it says on there. So they used Australia and the UK, which was the MI6 and the Five Eyes, to do the intelligence to get around US laws. So again, it's treason at the highest levels, and it brings the other countries in. So Rothschilds, this one's important. And just to show you the three things that I said, Rothschild, Saudis, Soros, this explains what they are. So Rothschilds, look, cult leaders, church, banks, financial institutions, worldwide government control. Government controls people. Saudi Arabia, oil tech, sex/children. Saudi controls and assigns UK and US politicians, tech companies, is their primary focus. So they install these people. Soros controls organizations of people, create division, brainwash, management, operate of slush funds, personal net worth never reduces, think DOJ statements, consume Iran, environmental pacts, etc. So he funded a lot of this truth movement, the Open Society, the Soros Open Society, and he manipulates the markets and stuff. So these people had their role to play. So look, Rock passed authority over followers, and there was like you can see here, there's a little sign. That's the triangle, the three sides. Look, present moment. There's one side missing. Future. Order is critical. Strings cut to the US and UK. Expand your thinking. Drain the swamp. 1 equals sexual harassment exit plus future. No bombs away. So it's telling you that things are happening behind the scene, but Rothschilds were involved with the church, controlling the church. We just saw before they spent a lot of money in the Vatican. So they control, and then they control worldwide governments, banks and financial institutions. So these are big, big players. So here's a photo that they said that they didn't want leaked. And gold destroys the Fed. This is what I feel like the gold is. It's the Rothschilds. If you read this one here, there was 3 photos of that actually. Let me just find. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So on that Captain Green, and I said that mission failed. They were doing it like in a way of explaining it as a movie. Look, Act 2, Scene 4. The same scene in Macbeth talks about a falcon flying freely before being ambushed by an owl. It is noted that the owl does not formally hunt the falcon. The scene continues to talk about many odd happenings and a darkness on the horizon for humanity. It is noted that even the horses are rebelling and turning upon one another, especially eating each other. Is it possible that the Clintons have turned on the Rothschilds? The fly, eagle fly may be a veiled threat directed towards the Clintons, a we know type of thing. So what does the owl represent to certain cults? So it seemed like a lot of them were turning on each other, suggestions from here. So that's the Rothschilds one. However, LDR was another one too. So let me just go through. So you show on here, look, LDR or L is Lynn G. Rothschild. Her name's going to come in important shortly. And LDR, Lord G. Rothschild, which is Jacob. So when I typed in LDR, there's so much to do with children, because obviously in the word children is LDR too. So it's almost saying, right, look at all these other ones also. So I can pull out a few, which was the ones that I've just gone through anyway. And I'll come on to the news articles just to show you how all this starts linking together. So thank you for staying with me on that. For people that are not used to the Q post, that might not made any sense. All I'm trying to show you now is what we are being shown on the news is linking it all together. There is only one outcome to this, people. And this is the other thing. We haven't had a situation like this in life where there is a guarantee. We have already won. There's one outcome, the winners, the reveal, the revelations, the exposing of all this dark system. That's all guaranteed. Nothing can stop what's coming. Try to think of anything in your life where you've had that confirmation. That is a confirmation. We're just being shown it now. So it's a lot easier to put the pieces together. This was just more on the plane crash. So is this one to show you that all the families linking up as well. So former first daughter, Chelsea Clinton, looks pretty in pink as she attends Nicky Hilton's wedding to the banking heir of James de Rothschild at Kensington Palace. So Hillary Clinton's daughter, Chelsea. Then the other thing on that Q post, it said Soros, Hillary Clinton. So I just typed in who is Chelsea Clinton married to? And one of the fact checkers come in was, oh, he's not linked to Soros. Then this come up. So actor Scott Baio programmed an untrue rumor about Chelsea Clinton and husband Mark Mavinsky. And the rumor was he was married to George Soros's nephew. And the fact checkers say it's false. However, when I typed in his name, Mavinsky, in Q post, one post come up. And Mavinsky was born in Philadelphia. This guy's married to Chelsea Clinton. His father, Edward Mavinsky, who embezzled more than 10 million from people via both a Ponzi scheme and the advance fee schemes, was found guilty of fraud in 2001. His mother is Marjorie Magalhaes, who was a TV reporter and represented Pennsylvania's 13th district from 1993 to 95. They declared bankruptcy after Mavinsky's conviction and divorced. Follow him and family down the hole to find out more. So you can start seeing that, well, he's already been convicted of a big crime, the Ponzi scheme. So this again, now people, if you've been convicted for you're in the system. Doing levels of corruption like that, you're in the system anyway. So when people say, I don't know, it's still in the system. It's a lot easier. And if you're married into families, it's obvious all these people are going to be corrupt too. Its association is a lot easier to make sense of it now. You might not know what they're doing, but you know that they wouldn't be mixing with each other unless they were evil. You wouldn't be, this is the highest levels of evil, by the way. So to get into their circles, you have to prove yourself in mostly evil. So Mark Wyszynski, you can look into here as well. So she's married to, so that's the Soros connection. Brings in George Soros. Then, whilst searching, look, discreet, ultra rich, and almost family to the Clintons, Huma Abedin and Alex Soros, the new couple of American royalty. This is all for optics, but showing you it's all in the family. She's from the Muslim Brotherhood and also connected with the Clintons. That's George Soros' son, but they're now dating. Follow Huma, her ex-husband, Anthony Weiner. That was the one whose laptop was confiscated. So she's back in the news now with George Soros. And because it's all starting to come out to this Anthony Weiner laptop, that's where all of this started beginning, is when the military had to really step in. Nicky Hilton Rothschild, so just to show that Hilton's a link too. And then this was when the Rothschilds family sells Lars Austrian hunting estate. So in the Black Forest, you can imagine what hunting goes on there. And if people have looked into this stuff, you get the idea. And over the past century, world events have buffeted Langwu and its ownership. Nazis confiscated the land in Lower Austria from the Rothschilds during World War II. During the family's homes and palaces in the area were destroyed according to the Rothschilds archive. You can't trust history if they're telling you it. Huma Abedin, I was just looking into her a bit more, but that again brings in Hillary Clinton. Emails related to the Clinton case found in the Anthony Weiner investigation. James Comey, the guy at the FBI, was the one that covered it up and let go of the investigation. It's still ongoing now. So again, Huma brings in this. Hillary Clinton, it opens up the door to the worst stuff. There was a part that I just wanted to show you with all the Rothschilds. Oh yes, it was all these photos all in one bit. So it was almost saying, look at this now. So they said, look at the ring on this person, and it was the ring that Obama's wearing on here. And then Merkel's here, Hillary Clinton's with the Ku Klux Klan person. Hillary Clinton, Soros, Clinton, McCain, Clinton, Rothschilds, Clinton, Rothschilds, Clinton with the Saudis. There's bin Tawalid, bin Tawalid with King Charles, brings in the royal family. McCain and the ISIS leader. That there he is. Just happens to be with them all in there. That the Queen next to bin Tawalid. George Bush with the Sauds. So you can start seeing just in these few posts together, they're showing you it's all connected to these families. It's the triangle. Can you find a picture of al-Walid and Hussein or Clinton or other US politicians? And then look, L is Lord de Rothschild. I heard you can't sleep anymore. Don't come here again. And there was another post. It's like, we can hear you breathing. So they knew that their people would be watching it all. And you keep putting it on here to say, look, we know where you are now, because they can follow you with the technology. Just see if there's any more for us to go through. And I'll just do a quick summarize of that, because I appreciate a lot of this may not make much sense at all if you're just tuning in. And all I keep saying is go back, watch some of my other ones. I do put them all together. I break it all down. But I'm just also confirming we're very close now to big things happening around the world all at the same time, because COVID was pushed, which did impact the whole world, by these same people, by the Obama administration. So let me then go on to how this also then links with the Nexium case as well, and the Clintons and the Rothschilds. So this post we'll come back to, which says, how does Lord Rothschild connect to the Bronfmans? Find the Bridge Think Company. So I showed you that the LDR also stood for Lindsay Rothschild. So if we come on to this one, Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, and she owned a company which was called the Bronfman EL Rothschilds and LP. So Claire Bronfman was a lady who financed Nexium. So Bronfman was the first sentence in connection with the group led by Keith Raniere, but while she was part of Nexium, she used her wealth as a means of intimidation. So she sent like 150 million to the Nexium project, and she was involved with child abuse images charges, sex trafficking, forced labor, racketeering. This was in 2019 that she got done with. So the Bronfman is linked, because the company is also linked then to the Rothschilds. So you can imagine from a criminal case of RICO, as soon as it links, you can continue the investigation. That's the beauty of the RICO, it's continuation. Crime links with crime. If it's all part of one thing and it's all feeding the same snake, the same system, the investigation gets deeper and deeper, more evidence, more people, more banks that they can go through, follow the money, and it all starts linking. And I'll just finish off on my Telegram just to show you a few other posts that other people put up about him dying. So the Q post and the Q Telegram page that I encourage to follow because it just get you snapping out of your sleepy state. Jacob Rothschild is dead, and we say bye bye. And then, look, just a reminder, Trump posted dog comms only a few days ago. You know what they say, every dog has its day. So they say, oh, it could have been because of the Rothschilds. And then this one here was quite interesting. So look, a few days ago, there was a rare sighting in central London of the blue and royals regime carrying the colour. Is this connected to the death of Jacob Rothschild? A white horse was brought out, and the white horse reportedly only comes out when the king is present. The Blue and Royals is a cavalry regiment of the British Army, part of the Household Cavalry. The flag has been covered by a black cover, might suggested a somber occasion, perhaps a funeral memorial service. So watch this, about 2 days ago. So I just watched this. So I just watched this a few days ago. If you just watch this.
Rare in the middle of the Mall in central London. This is incredible. I've just seen something super rare in the middle of the Mall in central London. This is incredible. Now, from what I can see, this is the Blues and Royals regiment carrying the colour. Now, this is super rare. You don't often see this at all. Just popped out of nowhere. So I wonder what's going on.
And it goes on for about 3 minutes or so, and he's confused. And if you searched for that video, it tells you that it would have been for some sort of funeral. So it was a very unique thing that went on there, and it just starts showing that all of this is going to be linked. So just to summarize one more time, the Rothschilds, Jacob Rothschild died. If you go onto the Q post, you'll see the Rothschilds' involvement with a lot of the crimes. They controlled the worldwide governments, the banking system. They were in charge of things for research when it comes to health, everything really within power. And why that's important is because what we're being shown now with the James Comey, the John Brennan on the news is the highest levels of corruption. The highest levels of corruption then come up to the three families, George Soros, the Rothschilds, and the Saudis. Saudis were the head of the snake, and the Rothschilds were number two. So putting Rothschilds in there was a link to the Saudis, a link to Huma Abedin, a link to the Clinton Foundation, a link to George Soros. It'll then link into the sex crimes. So I showed you it linked with Nexium and the sex cult there. All of that keeps coming back to the Hillary Clinton Foundation. You can imagine the Clintons controlled a lot of politics, a lot of people in government positions around the world. And you can see from it's around the world, if you just go to Burma and look at the prime minister there, she's in prison for 26 years for election fraud. If you remember, there was a military coup there as well, around 2020, 21. And she was all linked with the Clintons. So things have happened. It's just we don't pay any attention to countries like that at the moment. The world are going to be paying attention to all of this very soon. So all of that links, which helps people connect it all together, which helps people start connecting dots when it comes to things like sex crimes and crimes against humanity, because, it goes up to them. They worship evil and they put the whole systems in place to keep this evil and the wealth funneling back up to them. So it's very, very big. And like I said at the start of this, on Twitter, the Rothschilds is trending, which means people are going to be searching into it. People are going to be trying to connect more dots now. And there's not really much else to connect. We're going to find a bit more about the Sauds. We're going to find a bit more about George Soros. Then it's going to open up the door to the Clinton Foundation. It's going to take us back to Haiti. It's going to take us back to 2016, where they never thought she would lose, and the way that they cheated, and the way that they spied on Trump before the elections, and the way that they tried to continue spying on Trump after the elections. all funded by the Clintons. That didn't work. They tried impeaching him. That didn't work. They then released COVID, the worldwide pandemic. And by doing that, and I say they released it, they were desperate and went with an idea presented to them by us. They've just taken it on and just thought, yeah, this will work. We're desperate now. What that's done is then put everything in place to expose every bit of corruption. Because if it's them doing a plan that we've created and they are at the top, then everything they do after gets involved with every other aspect of the world, thinking we need you all now. That was why there was a big rally call for the people of the darkness within the truth movement to become gatekeepers, stop the information coming out, hide behind Trump because Trump's going to win, hide behind MAGA, go with what the trend is doing. They all got caught in the lie too. So you've got big pharma being exposed, big tech being exposed, and everyone that blames everyone else, everyone has their own personal experiences, but no one can get, oh, it's their fault. Oh, it's a judge's fault. And I know it's everyone's fault. So this is the beauty of it now. So I always ask people to view it from the highest perspective. We've won this war. So any anger, any triggers, that's for you to work on. And I was also thinking people have been impacted by certain things. So if you haven't had your moan and you still feel like there's loads of rage in there, you're welcome to let that manifest inside you. My encouragement though is, can you use that energy and save it for your healing, save it for power, and also knowing that you're going to need it at some point to help other people. Because getting angry about certain things means we haven't dealt with it. Getting angry is the opposite of God. To go into God's kingdom, which is all waiting for us, only can be from God, energy. So our truth is our feelings is our soul is our truth. It's all one thing. All of that falls under God. So as you watch this stuff now, we're going to be shocked. I promise you it's going to hurt so much. I'm still anticipating it's every bit of crime you can think of. And every bit of crime you can think of, there'll be people that control a lot of that. And then there'll be people that control the areas and people control within the families and then the mafia. So we're all going to be hit hard with full truth, full disclosure. However, everything else we've been learning, if you know all the good guys are already there, the only reason we're finding out about this now and the way it's being delivered to us is because we are ready for it. When the information comes, it means we're ready for the next part. So we're being drip fed all this because of when it does hit home, it's like a tidal wave that you're going to just have to ride out. Once you do that with that knowing that we've already won, which most people in this world do not have that as a knowing. They do not have any awareness. They're going to be in full fear. They're going to just see you just be like chilling out. And for me, it's once in a lifetime. It is the Great Awakening. So to be present through it, you can ride it or you can get consumed by it and swallowed by it. It's a choice. I know where I'm going with it. So people, I hope you enjoyed that. I appreciate it. It might have sounded a bit confusing to start with. However, the whole emphasis, it pulls all this together. It's good. There's not much else. And like I said, there's one outcome. We win. We've won. So it's just what comes first. When does it go? Like it all links. It all links. So people, remember to subscribe to the channel. Please do share this on and please do leave your comments. And to show your support, you also can now join on the membership feature as a super soul. And it's a few pounds a month that help me just get a coffee and help me continue doing this research, because all these Q posts is going to just open up the door for us to understand what is coming our way. So peace out, everyone. I'm Harry the Soul Coach, and I'll see you all really soon.